In this DIY December episode, we'll show you how to make a fun, interchangeable charm bracelet using toggle bars. You will need some large circle link chain. You will need an assortment of toggle bars that can fit through the links of your chain. And also the bars need to be long enough so that when you hold the center of the bar all the way over to one end, the end of the bar does not fall through the chain. I also have an assortment of charms and beads. And for each bead I have a head pin. And then I have some teeny tiny little jump rings. So the first thing that I'm going to do is show you how to make a bead into a charm. So we're going to put the bead on the head pin, grab your chain nose pliers, and bend the wire into a right angle. We're going to then switch to the round nose pliers and grab right like that so that the noses of your pliers are up and down, not side by side. And we're going to grab right in that bend. So push the wire up around the top of the pliers and down towards the bead so that you have something that looks like that. We're going to then hook that on the bottom nose of the round nose pliers, bring the tail end around and out to the other side. So now we have something that looks like that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to complete that spiral by wrapping the tail end around, creating a coil downward towards the beads. So it will eventually look like that. So once you reach the bead, you can take your flush cutter and trim the tail end off. If you feel the need, you can take your chain nose pliers to straighten out any little coils or to tuck the extra tail end down. But be careful, especially when using glass or crystal beads, that you don't crack the bead as you're doing that. You can also at this time straighten out your loop if it's a little bit crooked. So you want to make sure that your length of chain fits around your wrist, and we're going to double one of our little charm connectors as our clasp. So I'm going to take 2 chain nose pliers and I'm going to attach my little beaded charm using a jump ring onto one of the toggle bars. And then I'm going to attach a few more charms onto their own separate toggle bars. So I'm just opening my jump rings in the way that you normally would open a jump ring, and that is, of course, in this direction and never in this direction. So always this way and never this way. And you always want to make sure you're using your chain nose pliers to do so and never your round nose pliers. If you use your round nose pliers, you're going to put dents in your jump rings, and that's not only going to be unsightly, but it can also, if you squeeze hard enough and if you have thin enough gauge jump rings, it can also actually cut through your jump ring. So I'm putting my last charm that I'm going to show in the video. And so now what we're going to do is figure out which of these little charms we're going to use as our clasp. So in order to do that, what we need to figure out is what we have our longest, or where we have our longest space between the bar and the top of the charm. So for that, I'm going to use the bead. And how this doubles as our clasp is we're going to put the toggle bar through the end of the chain here, and also through the other end of the chain. And so you have a fun little charmed clasp. And then what you're going to do with the other charms is just hook them in the links wherever you see fit. Now see, I've run into a problem here because my charm is so big and because it's so close to the toggle bar, it's not going to want to pull through. So this is an important lesson. What we want to do then is just open the jump ring that we've just put on, and all is not lost. Just take the toggle bar off So we'll take the toggle bar off, close that jump ring. Whoops, if I don't drop it. So close that original jump ring and add a few more jump rings. Or I should say a couple, not a few. You could probably get by with just adding one jump ring. I'm going to add another just to be sure. So that's a total of 3 jump rings. And then hook your toggle bar into the last jump ring. So now we have a wider space for our toggle bar to be able to kind of pull up through the ring. So we'll just kind of hook that in wherever we want on the bracelet. Yeah, I think 2 would have worked just fine, but that's an okay length, certainly. And then we're going to check our next charm. But look, I think that it's not going to be long enough. So let's remove the jump ring on this one as well and add another one. Now, if you have charms that are skinnier, like the one that I showed first, those will probably work just fine. Or if you have links of chain that are a little bit bigger, they can accommodate some of those wider charms. So this one I'm only going to add 2 on, and I'm going to just hook that through on the opposite end of the bracelet. So this is a fun little system. You can interchange all of your charms just based on how you feel that day. So if you need a symbol that is going to help you remember a certain thing throughout the day, you can add that one on at the beginning of your day and just kind of switch them out. Switch the beads based on your outfit, and these also make a really fun gift idea as well. Not only because they're interchangeable, but they're a continuous gift. You can always give the person a new charm that symbolizes something in their life or something in your friendship. And also, they're adjustable. So if the bracelet that you give them is a bit too big, they can just hook it in a couple links back. So, thanks for watching this DIY December episode. If you enjoyed watching, make sure to give us a thumbs up down below. Make sure to subscribe if you'd like to see more, and have fun creating.